Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. It's great to see such a strong turnout of Tasmanians who are passionate about ensuring that our democracy is both robust and healthy. The Leader of the State Opposition, Will Hodgman, and all members of the State Liberals send their apologies as they are currently drawing the electorate lines as part of their ongoing commitment to representing the concerns of Tasmanians. But it is a great shame that we find ourselves here today. Sadly, confidence in the standards of governance in Tasmania is at an all-time low. The demise of two deputy premiers in as many years in scandalous circumstances points to an attitude by those governing this state that is undermining the confidence of the public in public processes. Tasmanians cannot ignore the scandals that have engulfed the state over the last decade, including recent episodes resulting in headline after headline in national newspapers declaring Tasmania to be rotten to the core. Premier under siege, shreds of evidence trapped cons, leaked shreds Island State's reputation. With each new headline, more details emerge of the government's lack of respect for process, the principles upon which responsible government is founded, and indeed for the people of Tasmania. Given the ongoing series of scandals in Tasmania in recent years, almost all related to allegations of corruption and cronyism, it is entirely clear that this government is simply not capable of delivering the high standards of accountability and transparency that Tasmanians expect and deserve. The practices of this government are rapidly eroding public confidence and bringing Tasmania's reputation into severe disrepute. Even business leaders are now calling for change, fearing a loss of investment confidence in Tasmania. In the face of the continual allegation of cronyism and corruption about the Lennon government, the Tasmanian Liberals have been calling for an independent anti-corruption authority since August 2004. Proposals for such a body were again put forward by the Liberals in 2006 and then in 2007. But Labor used its numbers in State Parliament to defeat all such proposals. The State Opposition believes that we need both an appropriate independent ethics and anti-corruption authority and a Parliamentary Standards Commissioner. These two authorities, which could be combined in one, would be able to independently assess, investigate and educate members of Parliament, senior public servants and the broader community on matters of public interest, including propriety, the importance of ministerial responsibility, ethics and probity, parliamentary standards and public sector maladministration. Such a change is vital if we are to restore much needed confidence in our system of executive government. No one is suggesting that Tasmania needs an authority of the magnitude seen elsewhere, such as in New South Wales and Western Australia. However, the state does need a tailor-made, independent body that is appropriate to its size and needs. The case for such an authority has been well and truly made out by the events of the past couple of weeks and compounded by previous scandals. It is also backed, as has been noted today, by the Director of Public Prosecution's recent public confirmation that Tasmania currently lacks any independent investigative body. It is a firm policy of the Liberal Party in this state that an independent corruption and ethics body be one of their first moves when elected to government in 2010. Paul Lennon is only adding to the perception that he has something to hide by continuing to reject the need for such an independent body. A cynic could think that unless there are more skeletons in the closet, Mr Lennon would not have a problem with supporting an ICAC-type authority. Tasmanians certainly support it, and once again, as noted by Peg, a Morgan poll conducted last year found that 60% of Tasmanians believe the Lennon government was either soft or weak on combating corruption, and 1 in 10 suspected the government actually encouraged it. And these are the worst results for any state or territory. And as also mentioned by Peg, I suspect that the results would be stronger if the poll was conducted today. The Liberal Party also believes that a code of ethics should be established to set out the processes to be followed and the responsibilities of government when looking at major developments and major issues. The current ministerial code is not rigorous enough and doesn't even appear to be worth the paper it's written on. Examples where the current code has failed are numerous, but include Premier Lennon's acceptance of free hospitality on the eve of signing the Betfair deal, former Deputy Premier Green's knowledge of the Spirit 3 woes prior to the election, conspiracy charges against Mr Green, and most recently, the latest scandal in a long line, Steve Conn's misleading Parliament. In both the Green and the Cons affair, the government has said, see, we don't need an ICAC-type body, they both resigned. But the reality is that if they had not been caught flouting the rules, they would not have resigned. The obvious question is, what are the breaches of the ministerial code the ethics of government, the Westminster system of responsible government, or even the law have occurred where the perpetrators have not been caught. There may be none are being appropriately adhered to. We've already heard it once today, but I think it's worth hearing again. In the words of the Labor Premier of New South Wales last year, any jurisdiction that does not have an ICAC type body is, in my view, just crazy. Thank you.